Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer, and this is the Road to the Record, where I work to achieve mastery of 10 games in a hunt for the best score of the decathlon. If you'd like to see, remember to hit that like button. You want to see more? Hit subscribe. Let the games begin. This is Draft Day Sports College Basketball 2019, and it's episode number 2 in this brand new series. We're going to get into our first game of the season here in just a moment. But first, we need to set up our depth chart and everything else. So we've gone through practice, we've done some recruiting, so we'll get some updates on those. We'll get through that depth chart, and then we'll be able to get to our first game. Now, this series is new, but at the same time, it is a bit of a carryover from my 2017 series, which was running right up until last week. This series has new episodes every Wednesday, and then I will frequently have a bonus episode on either a Monday or Tuesday. Usually about every other week or so, I'll have a bonus episode. So I've opted to redshirt just one player, Richard Reiner here. So freshman, he's got 3.5-star potential. Let's go ahead and take a look at our recruiting before we get into that depth chart, but otherwise we are just about ready to go. I have 3 recruits so far. Runyon, we did end up getting Brennan Runyon, so that was the player that we were after before, who we had jumped to number 2 on his list in a very short period of time. So I was able to get him signed, and he has been ranked in the top 100 throughout, but these rankings do get affected by prestige as they do in real life. You see it all the time. Like if Kentucky or Duke start going after a player, suddenly that player's ranking jumps by like 50 spots or 100 spots because it's like, oh, well, if Arizona likes him or Kansas likes him, then he must be really good. And so there's a lot of bias in the rankings in real life, so it doesn't surprise me at all that happens here. So Runyon was inside the top 100, but he's at 191 now. We have a point guard in Edward Ramey coming in, and it was the same thing. He was only a couple spots behind Runyon in the rankings, now at 211. Harrington was my diamond in the rough, who's now not so in the rough. He was below 500 in the rankings, but I saw some serious quality. And now in the newest rankings that just came out a week ago, he is number 149. So those 3 so far. I've got both of the other 2 scholarships out, and we're going to start with a quick look at a player that we nearly got. This is what my short list is down to, by the way. You can see that for the most part, they all really like me. So I'm quite close. This is how close we got to getting Paul Redden. Paul Redden's been right around number 50 in the rankings since they first came out. He's got excellent GPA, and right now is a B overall, but he keeps bouncing back and forth between a B and an A. Really, really good rebounder. Would have been an excellent addition, but he has given a verbal to Wisconsin. We're number 3 on his list. We're that close. I've kept him on for now. We'll see in January if he becomes available, but it's not likely. I have not seen players flip before. Bradford's somebody we're after. We're 4th on his list, but he has not got a scholarship offer. There's a new one. Andy West has just signed with Gonzaga, so he is out. Harrington is the shooting guard who has signed with us. This was that diamond in the rough. So scoring, yeah, it's just a B, but he's a good ball handler. He's also a good defender. He's got a very good outside shot. He's got good athleticism, so he is a very solid B. And for us, his last ranking, 438, for us, and with a good GPA, he will be a great addition. Runyon, the original signee, good scorer. Is not as great as he seems, but his ranking has been in that top 100 throughout, so I have stuck with him. And as the Oregon guy and as the easy recruit, it was a nice grab for us. Donnie Jefferson, we have a scholarship offer to him to play center for us, and this is a good balanced pick. Scoring is a B, rebounding is an A, defense is a B, shot blocking is a B. He's got a great inside shot. This guy could really, really come in and play well for us, and he's got a good GPA too that should have him hold up. Here is Ramey, great scorer, but not a good defender, so this guy is definitely going to lead the way with the three-pointers and really good athleticism. And looks like Mason needs to come off as he's heading to USC. Jordan, number 6 on his list. Finger is our other one with a scholarship offer. I do not have a small forward offered because there's nobody left on my list that's a small forward. I just didn't find quality and didn't have that right match. So at this point I'm looking at 2 point guards to help build from there. And this is the opposite of our other guy. This is a good defender, not as great of a scorer, but he's a really, really good ball handler and is okay passing. And Finger could be a rival for sure. And in fact, we could end up having, if I do sign Finger, at some point, if these guys become the starting 5, right? Finger could be at point guard, handling the ball a bit better, while Ramey plays at the shooting guard because he's a great scorer. And Harrington, who's a really good defender, could play at the small forward position. So I could rotate them that way. I've already done all of the pitches, so I'm not going to be doing any recruiting for a while. We're also into that quiet period after the contact ends until late season. So recruiting is going to be pretty light for a while. So let's go ahead and get on to the depth chart and see where we're at, what we've got going on here. And for example, these guys, that's not happening. Not happening. Both small forwards, huh? Neither of them are suited to power forward. Colt Carr, 214. Let's see, how's your defense? Oh gosh, we are lousy on D. By the end of my other playthrough, all of my defenders were high 30s or low 40s. Ouch. Okay, so we do not have good defense. In fact, we're pretty low in a lot of areas, which makes sense with the new playthrough. So Colt Carr is going to take over at power forward. And then at center... Oh, where's my center? I had a center who was decent. Where did they go? No. I've got a 1-star, a 1-star, a couple 1.5s. I'm going to have to rely on that. Ouch. Okay, well, these other guys are clearly better. I've got 2 point guards here, Bellamy and Cook. Let's see here. Boy, they are pretty balanced. Bellamy's a better defender. So we'll put Bellamy ahead of Cook. Okay, now for the minutes. I'm going to be keeping these better players on a lot. Especially Carr. Right, he's got better potential, so we'll try to get him in above the others. Reiner, it's our red shirt guy. Alright, so there's depth chart. Now onto the sub-rotations. What I'm going to do is sub-matrix only, because then it'll take it from the depth chart. And we'll see how we're looking on minutes. So Chambers 30, Ross is getting 28. Porter 30, Carr is 30, Williams is 30. I like this new design over the 2017. You've got your starters on top, and it follows depth chart. It looks like it anyway. Yeah, because there's Bellamy getting 16 minutes. Cook just 6 because he's the next one down that list. That makes sense. 10 minutes for Fry. Henderson's going to get 16 because I just don't have any depth. Crosby's going to get 4. Okay, yeah, that makes perfect sense. Alright, so I'm not going to change that any. And it looks like we are ready to get our season rolling. Now, I will not watch every game live. This is one of those playthroughs where there's going to be a lot of seasons. Lots of seasons. If you watch the previous playthrough, you'd know that in the regular season, I'll go through 3 to 4 games live, maybe 5 or 6, depending on how important the games are. But then it's the conference playoffs, like semifinals, finals, and then definitely tournaments at the end of the season that are going to get the live games. But for the most part, I want to be able to get through a season in 2 to 3 episodes each time. So, Kennesaw State is our very first opponent in the 2019 edition. As we sim through the other games on the day, and there you go. Kennesaw State Owls, we are at home. And we will go through the Gamecast. And I have not been into a Gamecast yet, so I don't know how this is different from the edition 2 years past. Looks like the same setup here. Okay, this is not changed. So it's set at game speed 6. I'm going to speed it up to 10. That's how I get through the games as quickly as I do. Okay. That's not speed 10. What's going on here? Come on. There we go. There's speed 10. Okay, it's somehow set to stopping at certain points. Okay, that's different. So, blowing whistles. Oh! Well, hey, there's the first episode that just got posted. They don't like the relegation concept in this game. I love it, but thank you for the comment anyway. Hope you stick with the series. Alright, so we trail big here early on in this one. We are down 14-7. Like I said, my objective this first season is going to be more about survival than anything, because looking at the squad, there's not a lot of quality. And looking at the experience, it's new play style, new coach coming in to them, and that's going to set us off. So even though I am coming in as the experienced coach, it is going to mess with things. I'm going to see if I can change this function on here to keep it moving. So when I like to go through games fast, I like to go through games fast. And this is way too slow. Lots of stops and starts. We're down 25-11. I think this is actually a really good media timeout. Let's not use it now. I'm missing most of our shots at the moment. Alright, here's a good chance. Let's use a timeout, see if we can't do something. And we come out of the timeout. Turn the ball over. Okay. Look a little bit better after that timeout. It's 25-14. added some more sound effects from what they had a couple years back. We trailed by 13. We're -2 on rebounds. We're -2 on turnovers. We're shooting 28% from the field while they're shooting 58%. That is the clear difference between the two teams at the moment. See, how is Colt Carr doing in his separate role? He's still got 7 points, 3 of 3 shooting, so he's not the problem. But Mickey Williams is having an awful day from the field, though he's got 6 boards already. Wouldn't be surprised if some of those are his own misses from point-blank range. Turnovers are starting to run up pretty high. Chambers has 4. Porter has 4 already. And as we approach halftime, they've nearly doubled up on our score. There we go. A little bit better. We go on a slight run there before halftime, but that is pretty ugly. And in fact, I'm going to go ahead and exit game at this point as we are down pretty big. Oh, no, I do not want to abort this game. Dang you. Dang you for doing that to me. I was hoping that meant just sim the rest, because this is ugly. Hey, it's a little less ugly. We're down 11. Yeah. 11 of 29 from the field is difficult to deal with, and that's better than where we were. At least we're 7 of 8 from the free throw line. Yeah, it's mostly just down to shooting. I mean, they're still shooting 55%. We're at 36%, and that's why we're a little bit closer now. Well, that's an ugly little sequence. They miss the free throw, but get the rebound, and then we commit a foul. Carr commits the foul. Oh no, I know what's going on here. Oh, this is not good. I like to keep this set to auto, and it's not set to auto right now. These guys have played the entire game so far. Options. Let's go options first. Enable auto sub. That's what I was looking for. Now, will you go forward? Yeah, there we go. Alright. Well, I just made my guys play more than an entire half. Just the 5 of them. Williams doing a little bit better now. He's got 14 points. He's got 7 boards. He's made 4 more shots from where he was last time on just 5 or 6 attempts. He also just grabbed a couple rebounds. A couple free throws, I mean. And we're on a little bit of a run. Scores down within 10, the lead. Rebounds still +1, turnovers -3, field goal percentage nearly up to 40, and they're nearly down to 50. That's definitely helping. They're not shooting the free throws well, while we are, but we're only 2 of 5 beyond the arc. I do like to have more attempts than that. Bellamy makes both free throws there, but again we're down by 13, now 12. And I think it's about time we use another 30. A lot of free throws here. Henderson gets the 3, but the lead is up to 16 now, so We can't trade baskets when we're down as big as we are. We need some defensive stops, and we're just not getting them. Let's go and use our full timeout as that score is now nearly out of reach. Two minutes left to play, and it's definitely out of reach now. By the way, Kennesaw State is many divisions below us. This is quite sad that we are losing this badly. I very much could be in trouble this season. Alright, well, unless you get something here in the last 30 seconds, it doesn't. In fact, we sub everybody out. Williams ends up with 18 points to lead our scoring. Nichols for them, though, 21 points on 8 of 13 shooting to lead all scorers. And final score here, 83-59. We go down in our opening game. And worrying sign that we were that poor in that first game against a team that, at least conference ranking-wise, we should be well above. So let's go ahead and finish the week out. Our next opponent I have no idea who that is. Incarnate Word? I don't think it's supposed to say that. Or there's a school I have never heard of. They lost their opener to go 0-1. Player Bond scored 19 points in that game, though. We dropped to 0-2 after that loss. And why do I have new mail? Let's see what it is. Ooh, ouch. That's going to hurt, too. Kansas State up next on the road. That's a pretty decent team, even though they are 0-1. Incident report. I was walking by, overheard Ed Leonard and Winland has had a lot of arguments. How serious it was, but I figured it was best to bring to your attention. I've already talked to Winland, too, about fixing it. He's better than he was. We're still in that same week, though, so let's get back out here and finish the week. So the opening week of our season is a poor one with 2 losses. We'll see what the score was on that second one here in a little bit. But that does wrap up the first week of the season.
You have new mail. You have new mail.
Oh, that's a lot of mail. Well, what do we got? What do we got? Let's see, Coppin State. Okay, all of the 3 guys signed their letter of intent. That's good. And what do I want to see here? Let's go to... Do you not have my schedule? Where is it? Team schedule. There we go. Ooh, that was so close. We lost. Yeah, Incarnate Word. Could not tell you who that is. Never heard of him. But we lost 80-83. Next up, Kansas State. And then we'll have a few more home games after that. That should get us somewhere. We've got to get a win at some point, right? Alright, well, I shouldn't have much to do recruiting-wise for a little bit, so let's jump straight into this next week. Let's see, 21st. Yeah, let's just get through the day. We're not going to watch any of these games for a little while, but we'll at least check some box scores here and there. And there you go. Hey, we get our opening win. And against a pretty decent team in Kansas State, 87-86. Finally on the board in the win column. And let's see, a lot of minutes went to our starters. But off the bench, Henderson, Bellamy pick up some minutes as well. And really good plus-minus there from Bellamy when he was on. 28 points for Mel Porter. Wow, 10 of 16 shooting, 4 of 10 beyond the arc, 4 for 4 from the line with 5 boards. Carr had 10 points. Mickey Williams had 7 boards and 7 points. Henderson, off the bench, had 11. Nice day for him. 6 of those came from the free throw line. Perfect from there. Also had 4 fouls. Chambers fouled out of the game. And it looks like that was a tight contest throughout. 10 lead changes. 9 times we were tied. So that was certainly better. Get our first win finally. Tennessee State is up next. They are currently 2-1. We are at home for that game. And prestige-wise, they should be somewhere in our neighborhood. So from that standpoint, it should be a winnable game. However, you've seen my roster. Not the worst team ever, but we're going to really struggle to survive the conference we're in right now. Which means we'll be lucky to be anywhere near 500 in this non-conference schedule. Now, while we continue to sim through this, if you are following the Gaming Decathlon at all, if you watch any of my other series, they're all interconnected in, there you go, 2-2. We got the win there against Tennessee State. Next up is going to be Jacksonville, who are 2-2. So, looking a little bit better already. Well, anyway, all of my series are interconnected ever so slightly. The Olympic Decathlon, the real Olympic event, is 10 events, right? And it's one athlete, 10 events, and they're trying to master those 10 events. Now, when they compete in those, even though they are competing against the other athletes, they are really competing against themselves, or against the clock, or against the record in each of those 10 events. So it's not like, say, in a 100-yard dash. It's not about who came first, second, and third. It's about the 9.7 that you got, or the 9.9 that you got, and those are compared against records. So each of those events are worth 1,000 points, and you do 10 of them. So your overall is a possible 10,000. Well, I'm doing the Gaming Decathlon in the same sort of format. So each of my 10 games, and I always have 10 games active on the channel at any given time, each of those are worth 1,000 points. And all of the games have some sort of measurable way to come up with that. I've got my own formulas for each game on what is 1,000 points, but all of them have some manner in which you have to start virtually with nothing and you've got to grow and build and get to some sort of endpoint of the game that is hard to achieve. So it's not like playing a game of solitaire and you play for 3 minutes and your game is done and you either won or you didn't, and that's not 1,000 points. That's nothing. That took 3 minutes. And there's plenty of games that a playthrough is done in a matter of hours. None of the games on here are like that. Okay, so Jacksonville is up next. We'll check the box score on this one after it's done. So all the games take a long time to get to mastery. They take a lot of work, a lot of seasons, and even though, for example, on here, I went to the University of Oregon, I would absolutely love to play as the Ducks on here. However, I would never do that, especially like on the college football one. When they're already one of the top, most prestigious teams in the country, you play as them and you win a national championship, well, it's good. It's a nice accomplishment. Yay, hooray! But is it really saying that much? And look at that. We are 3-2 now after a 20-point victory over Jacksonville. So we're coming along. We are playing much better at home than we were in those first couple of games. And we've won 3 straight now. And look at that. The plus minus for all my starters, 10 or better. All 5 starters also 10 points or more. Leading scorer is Colt Carr with 19 on a 6-for-9 shooting day for him, along with the double-double on 14 rebounds. Wow. Well done, sir. Well done. So with that being the premise, here essentially is how I get 1,000 points in this game. Now the breakdown, it carries over from the one I had with the 2017 series. And that also means my base score is still based off of that. So I'm considering this as if it were my 22nd season, continuing that playthrough. So I've done the hard work, I've done the grind. I just spent a whole year going through 21 seasons and working my way up the ladder from the 23rd tier, now in the 6th tier. Now, I might not be in the 6th tier next season. It's very possible that I'll be in the 7th, but hopefully this record is suggesting that I'll at least be mediocre and can finish mid-table and not get relegated. I like that pressure of being relegated or fighting for promotion as opposed to just doing the same thing all the time. Anyway, the basics. Every win, 5 points throughout the season. So we have a 3-2 record right now. So that means we have 15 points towards the 1,000 that would be considered mastery of this game. But I also have a base score. So each conference starts 10 points higher than the previous one. So as high as I've climbed, I have a base score based on being in Conference F of 160 points. So I started every season with 160 points. That's still nowhere near 1,000, right? So that's 175. But I also get bonuses for championships. Only championships, not tournament bids or anything like that. Only championships. I have 9 conference championships. Each of those have been worth 10 points. So that's 90 that I've earned over the previous series, now carrying into this one. Coppin State up next. Again, I don't have much going on recruiting-wise. Normally, I would be checking this every single week, but I know that we're into non-contact times this time, though I have seen, I don't remember quite where it showed me now in this one, there's some sort of calendar that actually, key dates maybe? There we go. See, key dates. This is different than before. In March, there's another contact period. In the 2017 edition, you just had the one from September to October, and then just the one at the end of the season. There was no contact period in between. So having another one here in March is big, because that's where I will likely grab these last couple of recruits. Going to get back to things here. Coppin State, we'll sim that one, see the results. So anyway, that's another 90 points. Those are permanent, so I retain those points. So that's part of what I'm going through on this playthrough, is building a dynasty. So not just winning one championship, but winning multiple championships. Conference championships count towards that, but not for much. 10 points is all you get. We lost that game, 79-70. Quick glance at the box score. And big minuses from Mickey Williams. Again, my center is my weak spot. Rebounds, Mel Porter and Carr had 15 between the two of them. Porter did not shoot terribly well. Chambers shot horribly, 2 for 10. Leading scorer was Porter with 13. John Cook off the bench, just 13 minutes played, but 11 points scored. Nice game from them. They're possibly the only player in the plus. No, Crosby also. Go ahead and sim through the rest of the week. Next up is UC Riverside. However, we are on the road for that game, so they are 0-5. But because we are on the road, there's still just as much of a chance that we're going to lose that game as there is that we would win it. If this game's anyone like the 2017 edition, there's a huge difference between playing at home and playing on the road, and it has a definite impact. It's those neutral territory ones, like the tournaments, where things are a bit more evenly matched, and home and away does not count, does not become a factor. But home team has a pretty strong advantage. If we're breaking down your chances of winning to like a percentage, there's probably a good 20 to 25% given just because of the home team. So you could be the worst team in the nation playing the best team in the nation, and you've probably got a 20 or 25% chance of winning. Maybe not that strong, but 15 or 20% chance. So I suppose that the home advantage is somewhere around 20%. It's pretty big. It's pretty big is the point. So right now, RPI wise, I'm at 300. This is the lowest I've seen my team since the first couple of seasons of that previous playthrough. But hey, we started anew. We've got to work from the ground up. We still haven't played UC Riverside yet, so they're still coming up in the schedule. They've dropped to 0-6. But anyway, back to the scoring, which, by the way, Portland is our rival, as our team, the Olympic Decathlon Rings, is set in Portland, Oregon. So got two Portlands to choose from, the Portland Pilots or Portland State Vikings. Well, anyway, as you can probably guess, if you've done any small number counting in your head, there's not a lot of points from the regular season. The total wins you get, the build-up. Ooh, see, I told you we lost that game. We lost that game. We dropped to 3-4. So UC Riverside was 0-6, and yet they beat us. They had home court advantage, and that's often enough. Next up is Oregon State. So we've got the Beavers at home. They are 3-5. I'd give us a chance in that game. They're not the most prestigious of teams, even if they're in a Power 5 conference. Anyway, so a lot of the points come from the postseason stuff. So conference tournament, decent amount of points available for that one. And see, I don't have it in front of me, but I could get that in front of me real quick without affecting the game. It's only 50 points to win the league playoffs. So, again, it's not a huge total. I got the win. Yes, yeah, we go to 4-4. So, we get the win against Oregon State. So, again, home court advantage. Let's see here just how important it is to this game. It's certainly not everything, but it is very important. UP up next, so we'll be at the Pilots. They've got a decent record at 4-2, and we are on the road. There are going to be quite a few divisions below us, but that doesn't mean much right now. Not with the roster I have, not with our level of comfort with the play style.
You have new mail.
But the biggest points available come to the big tournaments, whether it's the CIT, CBI, NIT, all worth growing number of points. But the real one is the national championship. So you get to March Madness, and you're going to get a decent point haul on that season, but you win it, it's worth 200. But the big thing is 100 points are kept permanent on that one. So it's a pretty good points haul, and that's what can get me up to 1,000 points on this one eventually. I'm going to have to grow up a couple more tiers. I'm going to have to raise the prestige a bit, and we're going to have to start getting deep into the NCAA tournament to get anywhere. The last playthrough, I still was short of 500 points, even at our best. So far from having mastered this game, but I'm excited about the prospect of carrying on this series through 2019. All right. So this next game's a rivalry game. I figure that's probably a decent one for us to watch. It'll be the last game we actually go into the game cast on for this episode. I will try to finish up our non-conference schedule before we wrap up the episode itself, as I am down to a few minutes, and actually I just remembered the fun problem. Let's see options here real quick. Let's see what can I do about no, that's fast sim. What about no, I don't want any of that. So none of these have to do with the simulation of the game itself. So I don't like that start-stop style. Makes the game take an extra 5 to 10 minutes. And I like to get through a lot, as previously mentioned. Let's see. Well, we could try the 2D view for this one. See how it looks from now, because I have not tried this since a long time ago. It was just maybe even before I ever aired my first episode of that other series. It's probably still going to do start-stop for me, though. We'll see. Yep, it's still got start-stop going. It's actually almost better, though, because you kind of see the action, but when it's sped up, it's hard to see. The only real thing you see is you've got the court. Alright, well, we trail by 3 here, 5 minutes into this game. do kind of like the presentation of graphics a little bit better here. You see more. I'm sure slowed down this would look decent. Maybe we'll check that out in the second half for a moment. Let's just see how it looks slowed down. But we have leveled the score at 10. Early on, though, we are 0 on the rebound chart, and they have all 6 boards grabbed so far in this game. Which is a little strange that we're this far into the game and there's only been 6 rebounds. Teams aren't shooting that well. Luckily, we've been to the free throw line quite a few times, as we've already had 12 attempts to their 0. So that seems to be the difference in this game. They're grabbing the rebounds, but we're going to the free throw line. Somebody just got nabbed for traveling. Out of bounds. We're +4 on turnovers, but -7 on rebounds. Still 0 rebounds for the game. We've had a block and a few steals. Finally, we grab a rebound. Both teams 1 for 4 beyond the arc. Free throws strongly favoring us, but field goals strongly favoring them. They've made twice what we've had, and they've had 6 more attempts. That definitely comes down to the rebounds, which we're -10 on, now -9. We're quite lucky to still be in this game, considering how far behind we are on rebounds. But a big part of that is the turnovers are heavily favoring us. Free throws are heavily favoring us. Unusual first half here, considering that. And with 4 to play, we've got a 1-point lead. This might be a good time for a timeout. I don't see where my option is for that. Ah, ooh, nice. Okay, hidden in the background. Oh, interesting. Okay. Well, let's go ahead and use a 30. I might stick with this 2D view. You certainly get more options here. We always lose a 30 at halftime anyway, so I like to use 1 before half as we level the score at 38 with 1.5 to play here. Rebounds a little bit better now. We're still -9 though. Turnovers +8. And field goal percentage, we've improved to 50, but they're at 60%. Score is level at 45 at half. We had the second half. See, Bellamy's got 6 points from the bench. Kerry Fry's got 8 points from the bench, which actually equals our best scorer, which is Mel Porter. So our starting 5, a little bit quiet in the scoring department. All of a sudden, UP is getting their points from the foul line, which is worrying for us because that was the only place where we were really keeping up scoring-wise. But there we go. We just got more free throws ourselves. Another foul. No free throws that time, though. That was on the ground. Moving ball. Another foul. Again, we reset, turn it over, it looks like. Another foul. This game is very heavy on the fouls getting called. This half, though, we're the ones getting in some trouble there. Their field goal percentage is down below 50%, so that's recovered a bit. We just leveled the score, but they got it right back at the other end. Rebounds, -14. Turnovers, +8. So turnovers have kind of leveled off. Field goal percentage is leveled off, but free throws has also leveled off. So that minus in the rebounds department is the one thing that's really still hurting. We're going to need more from that here if we are going to have a chance at winning this game. There's a three-pointer to take the lead, 63-60, and a traveling call at the other end, but we couldn't take advantage of it. A couple plays later, that we do add to our tally. 66-62 now. I'm going to slow this down the final 4 minutes because I'd like to see 69-62, another three, but Portland answers with a three of their own. We'll slow it down to 9 for now, because you'll see right away it makes a pretty big difference. Oh, another three-pointer. So we've had 3 threes in the last handful of possessions, and that has made a huge difference, and a 9-point lead. That three was missed. Rebounds also within 10 now, so we've closed that gap quite a bit. And we get the turnover there. Foul beyond the arc. That's his 5th as well. Carr goes to the line. It's going to make the first and the second. And the lead is at 11. They work the ball inside. We get the turnover. And now inside. Oh, quick fast break the other way. 2.5 to play. 9-point lead. We've got 3 guys in double digits plus Fry. Bellamy just 1 away himself. Ross is just 1 score away. We've really kept the turnovers low in this game. We still have fewer than 10. And after that foul with 2 minutes left to play here, they put Ross on the line. And he hits both free throws. That puts him into double digits. That makes 5 players with double-digit scoring now. Minute and a half to play, and I think we're going to get the win here. Portland does get both free throws, though. Leads down to 7. And the 1-and-1 results in a miss. But again, they foul. Minute to play. 45 seconds to play. Again with the foul. This time it's 2, though. He misses the first. Did he miss the second as well? I think he might have. They go for the 3. He can't get it. 15 seconds. This will do it. 10, 9, 8. 3 seconds. They got the timeout after grabbing the rebound. This will be the last play. There's nothing they can do here. Final score 80-71. We get the win on the road here at our rival, Portland. No big scorers. That was definitely a team effort on the day, and it came down to a really good second half. I am out of time, though, so I do not have time to finish off the last couple non-conference games. I will do that off camera, and then we'll play the second half. We'll play the conference schedule in the next episode, and then try to get into the tournament. But that's going to do it for this episode. I'm Decathlon Gamer, and remember, I'm aiming for the best of the best. So if you're ready to join me on my journey, hit subscribe and tune in next time on my Road to the Record. Bye for now.